guys! Welcome to this video. This is going to be a Top 5 Wednesday video, which you may have already seen because of the title. I have never done a Top 5 Wednesday before, but it is actually a trending thing on BookTube now. Everyone seems to do it, and I believe it was created by GingerReadsLainey. I believe that's her name. And she has the Goodreads group, which I just joined today, and I found out the topic for this Wednesday, and since it's the first Wednesday of the year, I figured why not, let's do it, let's do Top 5 Wednesdays. So the topic for this week is your top 5 most anticipated book releases in 2015. I think that's the full thing. But anyway, I'm really excited to do this, and I'm going to make a confession before we begin because it's something that needs to happen. I am not someone who follows releases whatsoever, so these books are probably really boring and you guys will have already heard of all of them, so I apologise. I think the two series that I have followed are obviously Skullduggery Pleasant and Harry Potter. Those are the only two that I've ever been really excited for the new releases in. The rest I've just sort of noticed when they've appeared and I'm like, yes, new books. So number 5 is a little bit cheating because it's actually a book that came out on the 1st of January and I read it in the shop on about the 4th, I believe it was. And essentially I read it because my friend Daisy had read it the day before that and she'd said, you gotta read it, you just gotta read it. And it's this little kids book called Please Mr Panda by Antony, and it is for young children. But when I read it, I literally couldn't stop laughing. It is the most funniest representation of how to teach kids things. It's just great. Essentially the entire book's oriented around manners and about saying please, and it's this panda called Mr Panda who basically goes around with this tray of donuts asking animals if they want one, and when they don't say please he just walks away, and I've just ruined sort of most of the book, but it's not that long, so once you get past that bit it gets really funny and you should definitely read it. Coming in at number 4 is the paperback edition of Rebel Belle. This is a book which a lot of booktubers have raved about last year and I have heard so much about it. It sounds really good and really unique and interesting, and because I don't think it is actually released in the UK, I'm gonna plan on importing it. And because of that I decided to go for the paperback because it'll fit in better with all my other books on my shelf, and it may also be cheaper than a hardback flying through the air towards me. So yeah, that's Rebel Belle, which is by Rachel Hawkins. Number 3 is the paperback edition of Armageddon Out of Here by Landy. This is the hardback version, which has already come out last year, and in the paperback version that they're going to release this year, there is actually 3 new stories. Number 1 is the Theatre of Shadows short story that he wrote while we did the Theatre of Shadows event in Dublin. I was there, so obviously I'm really excited to see what he wrote about that, and it's going to be super funny to read about all the different characters who are coming back. And then there's 2 new short stories which will literally be the final Skullduggery Pleasant stories ever, which is obviously a very sad time, so I can't miss out on the paperback edition of this book. And once I get that, I have completed, barring the paperback edition of The Dying of the Light, my entire Skullduggery Pleasant book collection, which is also a very sad prospect. The sequel to Winger by Andrew Smith, which is Standoff, is the 2nd book in the series, and I believe it follows Ryan Dean West as he enters his senior year, I think it's called, and it's about him becoming the captain of the rugby team. I read all this on Goodreads. I can't wait to see what's happened because obviously the twist at the end of Winger makes you cry so much, and I'm really interested to get back into Andrew Smith's world in Winger, and hopefully, fingers crossed, because I know Andrew Smith's coming over to the UK in summer, I think it is, I may even be able to meet him and have some fun explaining my angry thoughts on what happened at the end. And finally, number 1 is the new book by Landy in his new series, which is currently unnamed, and the book is currently unnamed. Essentially, what I believe the plot to follow is another young girl who is going around the world defeating monsters, which sounds very interesting, and I also believe that there are monsters chasing her around the world as well, which sounds terrifying. And obviously it's going to be by Landy, who is my favourite author ever, and I cannot wait to see what he does in his 2nd series. I wish I could show you a photo of the cover or something, but it's top secret. I know the release is around September 2015, so I'm excited. I'm excited. He's gonna kill all my feels again, but I'm really excited. So that is my first ever Top 5 Wednesday video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you will subscribe if you are not a subscriber already. I hope you like it. I hope you'll be interested to see what I think of the other topics this month, and I hope that I do come back to do said topics. Sometimes I just know that I won't have the capacity or the time available to do the video, so prepare for that. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye guys!